We're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse on March the 3rd, and that will happen in the sign of Virgo. This is actually the second of 3 lunar eclipses in a row in the sign of Virgo, and we are about to see another one next year during Pisces season. So on social media, I've been seeing a lot of posts about how this is the last full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo and how we are about to close out the eclipse cycle in Pisces and Virgo. Well, that is actually not the truth. I think there is a lot of information right now, partly due to Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces, that is so famously known for causing a lot of confusion and also misinformation. So we're really going to have to use our discernment, Virgo, to really get through the next few weeks ahead. There's going to be so much exhaustion within our mind. A lot of people feel really, really tired. And of course, full moon lunar eclipses, they are always a time of revelation. And in Virgo, that is about our physical health and about like the daily systems that we operate in within our daily life. So yeah, there's a lot of change on the horizon, and full moon lunar eclipses, they always signify a very, very big culmination or ending. And the fact that the ruler of this eclipse, Mercury, is retrograde in the opposite sign in Pisces, which means that he is in detriment and in fall. He really does not like to be there. We're going to have to be very, very careful about what we believe, what we take for the truth. We're really going to need to double check everything massively over the next couple of weeks. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through everything that Virgo resembles. We're going to talk about some key persons that are going to be implicated. I'm going to look at the Sabian symbol, at the degree theory, and then later I'm also going to walk you through each of the 12 signs. So stay tuned for that. And if you want to have more cosmic updates, be sure to like, share, and subscribe and join this awesome tribe. I'm very, very happy to see all of you guys here every week accompanying my astrology videos. I'm very, very grateful for the growth in my channel and for all the sweet, loving support that I'm always receiving in the chat from you guys. So I wanted to practice some gratitude, because I think with the Mercury retrograde and the full moon lunar eclipse, gratitude is going to be of uttermost importance. Really look at what you have and what's going well in your life, and make a gratitude list, make a vision board. Mercury is retro in Pisces, and Pisces is about our intuition and our feelings and our emotions. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty pivotal week. And definitely the next 3 weeks with the retrograde, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to get exposed even more. And I know 2026 is, of course, the year of revelation and disclosure. And we can definitely bet with this Mercury retrograde that there are a lot of things that are about to get exposed. Yeah, let's look at the presentation for today. So, of course, think back to last year. During the same periods, the same themes are going to be triggered in some kind of way. Maybe not the exact same things, but the core essence of all things that are coming up right now are going to be somehow weirdly tied to Pisces season last year. So really think back, look in your mails, your phones, your camera roll, and really look at what went on during that time. It's going to be very important. So before we dive deeper into the whole Virgo themed, yeah, it's Mercury retrograde. You guys are going to have to bear with me today, as my mind is not going as fast as you guys are used to of me. But this is actually the path of visibility. So if you live within one of these red zones, then that will have like the most implication on you and on the countries that are listed here on this slide. So we're going to look at a little video on how the eclipse is actually forming and where it's going to be most like intensely visible. And we can see that Australia and New Zealand are, of course, strongly implicated. And what really baffled my mind is when I looked here at the Geodetic Map, we can see that like this is the world map divided into each of the 12 signs. So whenever there's an eclipse, I'm also always going to look where the eclipse is exactly full at its most intensity. And then I'm going to look at the geodetic map to see if there's some kind of important connection. And in this case, it is definitely true. It is very strongly implicated here because look, parts of Australia and New Zealand are here within reach of like the sign of Virgo in the geodetic map. So there is a double trigger. And that is always of big importance. So if you live in those areas, then you can expect a lot of change and revelations and a lot of things to be revealed. And it can even be a little bit more emotional if you live within inside this area and are within the reach of this full moon lunar eclipse. So who's most affected? Of course, if you have the same sun, moon, or rising sign as the eclipse, if you have important planets or angles within Virgo, and the eclipse is going to be at 12 degrees, so 3 degrees before or after, that is like really going to have a very strong implication. If it's your birthday, like 3 days before or after this eclipse, that's going to be very strong, especially if it's on the exact date of the eclipse, then you're in for a major year of change and release. Yeah, you can expect a very, very important year to come up for you. And of course, if the eclipse falls in one of your angular houses, in the 1st, 4th, the 7th, or the 10th, and then that has an implication to the entire stability of your chart. 1, 4, 7, and 10 are very important because 1 is your identity, the 4th is your emotions and family, the 7th is your relationships and partnerships, business, marriage, and then the 10th house is your career and also your reputation, and things might become very, very publicly visible if it falls very close towards your MC. And because if it falls in one of the angular houses, it's going to trigger all of the other houses by making a square. So look at your own chart. And of course, the mutable signs here, Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Gemini, you are, of course, mostly implicated by this eclipse. So if we then look at the Virgo core themes, it's of course about our daily routine, and the south node, of course, is also in the sign of Virgo. So this is a full moon lunar eclipse with the south node, very big release, very big portal of revelation. There can be some, more difficult things being brought up in regards to like the workforce or like the working class or your job. And if you have, for example, Virgo at the 10th house cusp, like that rules then over your career, and there can be very, very big culmination happening in that. And maybe you're just like celebrating with your co-workers and with your boss for like something very big, like a big milestone at work, maybe a promotion. So it really also depends on where the eclipse falls for you. And if you have important planets that are either squaring that or conjuncting that. So it really pays off to know your own natal chart here. And with the south node eclipse here, we really need to let go of like over analyzing and being too critical and all of that. But there is a little bit of a paradox going on, because with Mercury retrograde in its opposite sign, we really need to tap into our discernment way more. So there's like a little bit of a tug of war in the sky, and some people are going to be very over analyzing and trying to find clarity, which is going to be very difficult here with Mercury retrograde. And others are going to be so lost in space that they like lose touch with reality completely. So yeah, we might see some weird things in the next couple of weeks, honestly. But yeah, it's about like reviewing our spiritual path, and then at the opposite side in Virgo, we need to really embody that. So there is a very big realignment of work going on, and I think a lot of you guys are going to want to implement more of your spiritual, softer side within your daily environment or within your workspace. That is going to be the best energy, or like the best way to deal with this energy. But yeah, I'm gonna say it again, like use discernment. And it's also confronting us with like patterns of our sacred everyday service towards others, and where we are actually overgiving. Do not try to save people now during this Mercury retro and Pisces, and then the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. It's like savior, martyrdom complexes also that get like massively triggered during this time. So if you feel exhausted, if you feel tired, you've probably been overgiving and you might need to let something go. Virgo is the sign of stress. Lunar eclipses are full moons on steroids, and it's asking us to release something within those patterns in order for our physical health to actually benefit from our daily routine and not become like totally overstressed and overburdened and become completely like burned out by it. That is going to be a very big theme. And of course, also, yeah, let go of not feeling good enough. You are good enough. Clarity is not really present right now, but trust your own competence. Virgo is also about productivity. Have you been too overproductive? Have you been too lazy? Have you been wanting to escape your daily reality by getting lost in the Pisces realm? We really need to balance out Pisces and Virgo right now in a very massive way, because we've got this whole stellium, so more than 3 or 4 planets within the sign of Pisces. And that is okay, compassionate and loving and like unconditional love and being empathetic and all of that. But then we now need to look also at the other side of Pisces, which is Virgo, and really use our discernment. Like, have we been too forgiving? Have we been too overproductive? And like all balancing that out in a beneficial way, something that is going to add value for us as well, and also something that is going to benefit our physical health. So balancing out our mental and physical health are actually been the key themes of the last year and a half with these eclipses here in the sign of Virgo and Pisces, of course. So if you now look at the archetype, Virgo has a few of them. It's like the priestess, the healer, the sacred analyst, the herbalist. And how can this work better? That is always what Virgo is thinking about. She always wants to improve herself or himself. And it's also a sign of purity. So look at what can be purified in your life right now. Are you like in the right relationship with your own body, with your time, with your energy? And Virgo is also a lot about perfectionism, and we might need to let that go as well right now. We need to actually, yeah, have devotion to also be more soft on ourselves. Do not be too critical. And it's also about like guarding your temple and your body. So take your supplements during this time. It's going to be important here. And of course, Virgo and all of these archetypes, they are about discernment and precision and embodiment, and also like, yeah, practical magic. It's about bringing the magic of the Pisces realm into existence, like into our, yeah, practicality and our daily routine. So look where you, yeah, just like observate and look where you can change something within that. But really release self-criticism. That is going to be so important. And a lot of people are going to struggle a bit with anxiety and overthinking, because our mind is lost in space here with Mercury retrograde in Virgo, Mercury retrograde in Pisces, and then the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. That triggers a lot of stress, but it's actually bringing up those patterns, and it's doing that to confront us and where we need to like release something or just like update or reboot something within our daily service towards others. But it's going to be a little bit more difficult during this time, as Mercury, all of our minds are a little bit lost in space right now. I've noticed it on the road, like people, it's like, oh my God, like it's like they are within like an alternative reality, and they're like in this parallel universe, just like driving like this, and it's like they're completely lost. Yeah, we might need to be a little bit more careful on the road during this time as well, and really think about how your mental health affects your physical body, because it all starts within like the non-physical. And we're going to get massively confronted with that over the next couple of weeks. And that can have a very big effect on all of our physical bodies right now. So if you feel like you need to talk to a therapist or a healer, or like energy healing and all of that, is going to be very beneficial and might be necessary for people who definitely in the past struggled with anxiety as well. You can really feel that a lot of things are bubbling to the surface, and it might be good if you feel a little bit emotionally overwhelmed to go talk to someone that you trust. So yeah, a lot of people are going to be so confronted with burnout from overgiving and the feeling of never feeling like good enough. So yeah, if you bump into that, you really need to change something within those patterns rather quickly. It's like your soul, Pisces, is now talking like directly telepathically to your mind, Mercury, about all of the things in Virgo, about your practicality, your productivity, how you're being burned out, how you're being tired, exhausted, and where that needs to shift right now. So in medical astrology, Virgo rules over our digestive system, and we can all collectively feel that we're going to need to put a little bit more attention on that. So yeah, the gut connection, we're going to need to restore that more fully, and we get like another chance here right now. And then next year during Pisces season, that is going to be the last chance. So also psychosomatic processing, stress levels, and then all the organs here are listed as well. If you already like been struggling a little bit with some of these organs, then now that's going to need a little bit more attention and care during this time. So that is why Virgo and like our health and our work is so closely intertwined, because if our stress levels are too high, we cannot like be productive at work, and then we get sick. And if we sometimes change something in our job, or if we even change our entire field, we can really feel that that has a very big positive effect on our mental health and our physical health as well. So if you feel anxiety, if you feel burned out, if you feel a little bit lost in space, also know that yeah, Saturn, Neptune, they are conjunct. And Neptune is the ruler of Mercury, and it's conjunct Saturn in Aries. So yeah, this is not easy energy, you guys. If you feel like you do not see the light at the end of the tunnel, or if you feel like you lose hope a little bit, then that can also have a very, very big effect on our bowels. Our bowels are like, so many people struggle with that, and it's like a little bit taboo, but definitely in Western society here, I think 6 or 7 out of the 10 people struggle with their bowels and are having not a healthy release on multiple facets or aspects of their life. And that can really come to a head during this time. So if you feel like your bowels are doing a little bit weird things, or if your belly is bloated, then that is all a sign that you might need to release something within your daily environment. Maybe you're also being surrounded by the wrong people on a daily basis, and that also has a very strong effect on our physical system, of course. So yeah, take small steps. Healing here is of major importance, but healing through small, consistent daily steps, that is going to help you forward here during this time. So if we look at the chart for this eclipse, then of course Virgo, it is not just like the Virgin, although it is like about purity and energetic integrity as well. It's like the sovereign and like the self-contained being, and Virgo is really like the fixer. And as a Virgo rising, I'm like, I know it all too well, but sometimes we try to fix other people's problems so we wouldn't have to be confronted with our own. And that is also going to be of major implication here. So, but it's also like Virgo, it is about purity, and it's also about sacred sexuality through like wholeness. And like we see a lot of nuns that are Virgo in some kind of way. They're like about chastity and purity and energetic like cleansing and being very discerned about who you let my God, who you let in, who you let you enter your temple. The body is so sacred. It is like this temple, and Virgo is also kind of like a priestess. So yeah, then Pisces is like all of our energetic entanglements as well. How we are all connected in this one big vast cosmic ocean of feelings and intuition, and yeah, we are now way more sensitive towards other people's energy. So make sure that you keep your temple clean on all levels. I'm such a big advocate in those regards because I'm like a Virgo rising myself. So yeah, Virgo is structure, Pisces is surrender, Virgo is discipline, Pisces is flow. It's like the body and spirit, rituals and having faith, healing and then divine connection. So yeah, it's really balancing all of our daily efforts with also infusing that with trust and faith and surrender. And it's really about like also here improving on a daily basis without rejecting yourself. Rejection is also very difficult for Virgo because they are so neat, so clean, they do everything so perfect. And when a Virgo gets rejected, she's like freaking out a little bit because she's already doing everything to improve herself and to be the best version of herself. And when people then reject her, that is sometimes a very, very difficult team to manage. Just know, sometimes rejection is redirection. So do not freak out if that were to happen. Maybe you're being guarded from something that would not be healthy for you in some kind of way. So we really need to change our mindset. And that is definitely happening here with Mercury retrograde in Pisces. So full moon lunar eclipses, they are release points, they are endings. This should be like the end of a cycle of perfectionism, releasing self-criticism, having more awareness around burnout. It can be, for some people, a very big wake-up call in regards to their health or their job, or maybe colleagues are leaving and now you need to do more work and maybe you need to draw some boundaries, which is difficult right now. And yeah, we need to go from control, Virgo. Like, honestly, sometimes Virgos can be a little bit of a control freak because they want to do everything so perfect. But we need to release control and go to conscious co-creation here with this whole Pisces stellium. So yeah, Virgo is actually like the sign where spirituality becomes embodied and becomes a lifestyle. So just know that like the body keeps the score of all of the energetic alignments that you're dealing with on a daily basis within the sign of Pisces. So Virgo really is going to translate the message now. And it's going to, if you have subtle cues in your body, you're really going to need to listen to that. It's also signifying like a very big end of like being of service to others at the cost of yourself. So really fill your own cup during this time and have faith in the process. Virgo really wants healing that works, and Pisces wants meaning and surrender that is actually melting the fear and the anxiety of Virgo. And it's really like a very big push and pull between all of that with the big opposition that we're seeing here in the chart. So some of you need to become their own healer. You need to create a new life that works better for you. You need to honor your own energy as being very mystical and sacred. And you need to live your spirituality through your daily habits and routines. So it's really about like not doing more. No, because that's normally Virgo energy. It's really about like now refining the system until like your entire life stops leaking energy from the Pisces side here in the chart. So yeah, it is, yeah, it's going to be such a big checkpoint here because it's also having an implication on the previous eclipses here in Virgo. And it's like now saying, okay, like here is what you've learned so far. That is what we can improve on. Now we need to adjust. And of course, Virgo, it is about also on then a more mundane level about like health systems, and we're going to see a major reform happening in that as well. The routines at work, the working class. It's looking at what's functional on the world stage, what's measurable, the facts, and Pisces then is the sign of faith and symbolism and mysticism, dream, and the collective narrative. And there's definitely going to be some distortion in that right now. Pisces wants like connectedness and wholeness and surrender, and the eclipse is saying like, yeah, but what's really happening? What are the facts? What's real in your body, in your schedule, in your nervous system, in your relationships, in your mental beliefs also. A lot of people are going to be stuck in their comfort zone, and they're going to escape here with the Pisces stellium, or be very, very nostalgic. They're going to want to hide under the blankets, doom scroll, and binge watch. And that is not going to have a positive effect on your physical body. So I'm just like highlighting that here. Virgo is really looking at what's functional and what is actually working in the real world. And Virgo wants evidence, and it wants the numbers, the receipts. And Mercury deals with the receipts, but it's in Pisces. So the receipts and the details and the data, it's all lost in space right now. Yeah. It is like, it's going to be such a weird Mercury retrograde, honestly. We're going to need to surrender. Then if I look at like the degree theory, so the full moon lunar eclipse is actually at 12 degrees, and 12 degrees is a Pisces degree. Yeah, why not? Just what we needed, actually. Sometimes when I look at the astrology, it's kind of funny, and I'm like looking upstairs in the sky, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we need to like really use our discernment now without becoming too harsh or too critical. And it's really about putting a focus on practical mysticism, and that is so difficult to even start to explain. Mercury retrograde in Pisces, that is going to be very big, because on the world stage, I've like now talked a lot about our personal dealings, but on the world stage, Pisces deals with jails, hospitals, temples, mental asylums, immigration, global trade, things that got missing, things that are disappeared, like Mercury's contracts, like a lot of redacted or missing files are about to be brought back up again, especially around the 20th of March, as it's going to station back direct on the North Node. So very distant news, contracts, phone calls, emails that got lost in space or that got redacted, that were used for spiritual bypassing, to deceive us, to control the collective narrative. All of that is going to be a major, major big theme around the 20th of March. Mercury also deals with younger people. It's not directly connected to kids, but it's about younger people and how they have disappeared and how they were brought to confined spaces, how even a lot of them passed over Pisces. Yeah, we're going to see some very strange missing cases and like new evidence turning up in regards to those cases. It is a rather special Mercury retrograde, because it is eclipsed. It is an eclipsed Mercury retrograde, and it's in fall and in detriment. It's going to conjunct Mars on March the 15th. That's going to bring a lot of conflict around global trade and shipping routines or shipping lanes, and like the Strait of Hormuz and all of that. And of course, in my Mercury retrograde video, I've highlighted that global trade would be a very, very big theme. And that's also what we're seeing right now with all of the tariffs in the US. And in Trump's chart, he has Pisces at 22 degrees at his 8th house cusp. And the 8th house deals with depth and taxes and tariffs. And that is now such a big major theme. Mercury retrograde, I said in my video that it would dissolve a lot of the contracts and agreements and even diplomatic dealings that are about global trade. And that is what we're seeing playing out here. I received that news, or like I saw that yesterday evening. So yeah, but 22 degrees is also the kill and be killed degree. And that is like the exact cusp of the 8th house of death of Trump as well. A lot of intense stuff is going on, you guys. And honestly, Trump also is going to have this eclipse in Virgo in his first house, and it's going to square off with his moon in Sagittarius in the 4th house, and then Uranus and the sun in his 10th house. So it's going to affect all of his angular houses. When an eclipse in the first house happens, there is sometimes like a very big release of identity, and it squares his 10th house where Uranus and the sun are. And that is his house of like being like leader in a leadership position, and something is going to happen that is going to be very publicly witnessable, and by that his identity changes in some kind of way. And it's square Uranus. Uranus is sudden shocks, surprises within his leadership position, within his reputation, that deals with the 8th house cusp, the sign of Pisces there, and how things are getting dissolved in matters of like contracts, Mercury, and dealings with taxes, debts, mortgages, loans, alimony. All of that falls into the 8th house. It is a rather intense house. And if we then look right now at the chart for the US, then we can see that Mars has been going through the 8th house, conflicts, intense dealings with taxes and all of that. So there is a lot of intense energy going on right now. Full moon lunar eclipses, they are a portal of very, very big release. So in his first house, it is like a release of his identity in some kind of way here. And because it squares all of his other mutable energy, that is actually a rather intense thing. Mars is also opposite his natal Mars, and Mars is on the descendant. Descendant deals with other people, his allies, but also his open enemies, a direct confrontation with that. So there are a lot of intense dealings going on at the same time right now for him. So the next 3 weeks are going to be of very big importance. And also, what I wanted to highlight a bit more as well, maybe now that we're talking about important like people or people who are very known on the world stage, then I also found that Pam Bondi has her moon at 16 degrees of Virgo. So the full moon lunar eclipse is going to eclipse her own natal moon, and her own natal moon is conjunct Pluto. So all the people of 64, 65, and even surrounding those years are all going to have a full moon lunar eclipse on their Pluto. Now, of course, Pam Bondi is a little bit younger, and her Pluto is at 18 degrees, but the people who are from 64, 65 have their Pluto at 12 degrees. So they are a little bit older. That is going to be an intense full moon lunar eclipse for you, but also for Pam Bondi, as it's going to trigger her natal moon in Virgo. And the interesting part that I saw in her chart also is that she has a Mercury retrograde now also, and it's going to go direct on the 20th of March on her Saturn, her position of authority. Hidden files, the North Node is there. Destined things are about to be revealed in regards her spiritual bypassing and her talking about the stock market instead of like the redacted files and all of that. It's going to have a very big continuation here in the story and a very big reveal here that is about to happen. Is she even going to be able to keep her position? I actually do not think so. Mercury retrograde really dissolving contracts, agreements. And then on her Saturn, Lord of Karma and authority and the planet of the government. And Mercury goes like over that, reviewing all of that. So that is rather something to watch for. Then Mark Carney is another important person right now, because Carney, he has so much Pisces and Virgo. He has a stellium in Pisces and a stellium in Virgo. So that is like incredible. His sun is in Pisces, 25 degrees of Pisces. So Mercury retrograded just 3 degrees before his sun. So that could actually also dissolve his leadership position, his sun. and it's in the 10th house, if I remember correctly. And then at the opposite side of the wheel, we have the 4th house where his stellium in Virgo falls in. And Carney has a Virgo moon at 14 degrees, conjunct Mars, conjunct Pluto, and other things. So yeah, this eclipse is going to trigger his moon as well, just like Pam Bondi. So they might actually lose their position or their job in the next few weeks. Also, Carney has also his Saturn at 9 degrees. So just like Pam Bondi, Mercury retrograde is going to station direct on the Saturn of Mark Carney. So again, it's like karma. It is like, yeah, position of leadership being dissolved, agreements being dissolved, contracts being dissolved, reviewed, reassessed. They might lose their position of power. Something else that took my mind is that normally I never talk about celebrities because I honestly do not care about them at all. But we know that the dark arts queen Beyonce has her Virgo sun at 14 degrees. Oh no, it's 12 degrees. It's exact. So it is insane. This full moon lunar eclipse is going to eclipse her sun. So the sun is very shine on stage. Her vitality as well. There might be something coming up in regards to her as well, but I do not want to give her too much attention. But still, look at these people. They're going to be coming up in the news for some kind of reason. And also, because I was talking about Trump earlier, Baron Trump, his chart is also getting eclipsed here in a pretty profound way. So that is also something to keep your mind on. I'm thinking about other people. Yeah, there were others, but maybe they're gonna come back in my mind. Yeah, Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's chart is also eclipsed. So yeah, interesting stuff that is going on for sure. All right, if you then look at the Sabian symbol, and that is actually also why I wanted to highlight a lot of these people before we looked at the Sabian symbol for today, as it is a powerful statesman overcomes a state of political hysteria. Like, are you kidding me? Like, how applicable is the Sabian symbol for what we're dealing with with what we're all dealing with right now? But this, however, indicates like calm after the chaos, or like a very big emphasis on having to restore order, having to cut through the distortion, really proving the facts, showing the unredacted files, being truthful, being honest, being pure. Yeah. This is definitely going to be hard for them, because this is like narrative control, false imageries, like images, and like authority just like pretending that everything's fine while they're actually hiding the entire truth. So yeah, it is actually a very, very interesting Sabian symbol. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this. It really like baffled my mind here. So the ruler of the Mercury retrograde here, oh my God, you guys, like this Mercury retrograde, it is intense. It is insane. And insane is the word of Pisces also. So yeah, it's quite applicable. So the ruler is of course Mercury, and I've already highlighted a lot of that. But yeah, it is like a cosmic paradox here, because Virgo wants clarity and Mercury doesn't do clarity, and in Pisces it communicates like through emotional resonance and symbolism and like the vibe and intuition, and it can be very poetic and can be about telepathic communication, but it can also be very foggy, and it can be easily influenced, and like our subconscious gets very easily programmed right now. Guys, we are going to see psyops, Saturn, Neptune here. It's about crystallization of things that are not real as well. However, on the positive side, we can see a manifestation of spirit for sure, but that's only going to be for like the monk on his mountain, I'm guessing, when I'm looking at this chart. But still, there's a very big recalibration period, and they're gonna mess with the truth in such a big way here, you guys. It is going to be insane the next couple of weeks. So do not believe everything you see. Do not believe everything you read. You're so easily susceptible to the brainwash right now. We all are, collectively. So watch out. Unplug, detach, do meditation. Do not get lost in all of the false news that is about to be put on the world stage. It's going to be a little bit intense, honestly. But on the positive side, there can be rediscoveries. And my biggest prediction here is that we're going to see something very big illuminated in regards to like lost ancient knowledge, like advanced civilizations, because that is also like this eclipse is still connected to the solar eclipse in Aquarius. And Aquarius is like about innovation and civilizations, like the collective groups of people. The sun is now in a very spiritual sign. It can tap into the Akashic records. And when we look back at previous year, like last year with Mercury retrograde in Pisces and the full moon lunar eclipse that happened on the 14th of March, what happened during those times? There was a very, very big discovery about ancient Egypt and about the pyramids and how they are actually like batteries and conductors and how there was like free energy and all of that. We're going to see a continuation of that story. And there might be massive things getting revealed here. Also about like Göbekli Tepe and how that is like way much more ancient than they are trying to like say to us, like the mainstream scientific things. Yeah, a lot of truth is gonna be revealed here. I think there's going to be such a strong connection to ancient Egypt or either like Atlantis or something in those regards. And I think it's going to be quite fascinating. I'm looking forward to that, honestly, because Mercury retrograde, it can bring up like lost documents, like recovering documents, ancient knowledge resurfacing, lost data, and like the deeper systems and how that operates Virgo in a spiritual way, or like in regards to past lives or past civilizations or like past hidden knowledge, and how that's all connected towards one another. Pisces is also about like sacred places, mystical places. Think about like the ley lines or the fault lines or like the sacred sites and like all of these mystical ancient civilizations. And Virgo knows how it works and what powers it and like what system actually does that, like with the pyramids and what's been hiding underneath all of that. So that is actually going to be very, very powerful. I think we're gonna rediscover a lot of our hidden history here, because like our memory is getting like an upgrade and a boost and all of that. So and then Virgo is like the mechanics, the engineering, the like what's underneath, how things operate. And yeah, the pyramid example here that I'm giving you guys, it actually captures this axis perfectly. So just know that on the other side, with Mercury retrograde, there can be a little bit information overload within like our energetic systems right now. So we might need to slow down in order for our, like, we need to slow down because our energetic system gets a very major big upgrade, and it's reviewing our past lives and even our past lives within this lifetime. And then Virgo has a difficulty right now to like catch up with everything that is getting rebooted or like reinstalled. Make sure you reinstall at a good way, in discernment kind of way. Do not get lost in the clouds. Do not go use substance abuse to escape right now, because then you're going to reprogram yourself in the wrong way. And yeah, just do not drink and all of that. So yeah, we also, of course, see other aspects playing out here, and that is, of course, Mercury that is about to conjunct Venus. I've already highlighted that in the Mercury retrograde video about like the diplomatic agreements that are getting dissolved, that we're seeing happening now with the tariffs. Then on the 15th of March, it's going to conjunct with Mars. That is going to be rather intense. Be careful about like harsh words. We're also right now seeing Mars square Uranus. Yeah, that brings a lot of like it brings like instability, and everything that's already on a wonky, shaky ground is now like getting like all it's all collapsing right now. Also with Saturn, Neptune, that is really the dissolvement of powerful systems of the government, and how that is being like weakened right now with Neptune. Mars is going to enter Pisces as well, and then like Mars will be in Pisces during this full moon lunar eclipse, and that is going to make things way more unstable and way more weird, because our action and our drive is now being directed through the unseen realms, and people who are not connected to the right, like how do I say it, people who are connected to like the more demonic side of Pisces, that's going to cause some conflicts for sure. So protect your energetic field massively during this time. Focus on your physical body, take care of yourself, fill your own cup, do meditations, walk by the sea. Do not be too critical of yourself. If you make a mistake, forgive yourself, have compassion, have empathy, but especially for yourself right now. If you're going to have it too much for other people, then you're going to get drained massively. Luckily, Mercury is going to trine Jupiter, and that talks to me about new laws being implemented, because Jupiter rules over law and legality as well. And with Saturn, Neptune also, Saturn is the rules, Neptune is getting dissolved, Mercury retrograde agreements in the sign of Pisces, global trade, immigration, lost documents, hidden files, and the trine to Jupiter, it is like amplifying all of that. So yeah, it's a rather interesting time right now. So slow down and let all of the integration happen. Jupiter is actually trying to bring us more wisdom, and it's also supportive of this full moon lunar eclipse. But just know that like wisdom, it doesn't come from sprinting or trying to be perfect or trying to get everything done and to receive clarity in the same day. I always tell myself when I feel overwhelmed, then I'm just like, okay, but the problems that I'm dealing with right now, do they need to be fixed today? And then I'm like, no, they can actually wait until tomorrow. And that is going to be a little bit the mindset, to release our worry and overthinking. Focus on really restoring the health within your body, because we are all dealing with a little bit of energy leaks now in Pisces, and that is like going to have an effect on our physical body. So take your supplements, take ashwagandha, take shilajit, drink structurized water. Water intake is of major importance right now, because this is very big. Like it's about detoxifying from people who are energetically draining us in Pisces, and from all the daily habits that are actually having a not so good effect on our physical body. Pisces is our immune system also. Virgo rules the gut. All of that is a little bit weakened and eclipsed right now. But Pisces also deals with like the energetic junk and our self-sabotaging behavior. And we are becoming very, very aware right now where we sabotage ourselves and how that has an effect on our physical health. So if you do not encounter anything with your physical health, then I'm very glad for you. I do not wish it upon anyone. But then there can be something in your job coming up quite strongly in order for you to realize like this is not the way how it's supposed to be. So yeah, what needs to be simplified, what needs to be healed, what needs to be reorganized, what needs to be released, not in a dramatic kind of way, but do it in a functional kind of way. Virgo, it doesn't care about the drama. Virgo only wants the results. So yeah, the biggest predictions are, of course, a very big collective health and lifestyle switch and turning point in that. There's more awakening, there's more wake-up calls. And also, I forgot to mention that, but like with the trine to Jupiter, we're going to see new laws also in regards to health systems. And full moon lunar eclipses are revelations. We're going to see more truth in regards how Big Pharma wants to keep us sick, how they are thriving on a sick population, on how the medical procedures from a couple of years ago, what's the effect on that right now, because actually Saturn and Neptune together at 0 degrees of Aries, and this whole Pisces stellium, it is also a portal of people crossing over. And I know that sounds kind of intense, but it's just very strongly in the astrology. Pisces rules the other side. Full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, triggering health issues. Mars square Uranus in a sudden way. Mercury retrograde, we're losing our mind. So Pisces is also like secrets in regards to health system. And we're going to see some very, very intense things being revealed in regards to like mental asylums and what's happening behind closed doors, in jails, in temples, in like churches, in organized religion, and all of the Piscean themes, and in all the lost children, missing people. All of that is going to be like a very, very big, strange phenomenon in the next few weeks. So yeah, restructuring in work, spirituality actually having to become more practical, and yeah, our belief system is being rewired. But we're gonna see so many healthcare reforms and reversals and hidden files, lost information coming back up again, because remember guys that this full moon lunar eclipse is connected to the solar eclipse in Virgo, which we saw last year in September. And that one was at 29 degrees of Virgo, and it was opposite Saturn and Neptune. And that was the very first time where they like just said it in the mainstream media. There was a major headline like, these procedures, I cannot say the word here on YouTube, are causing massive heart failure. And it was just like in the mainstream news. So this is a culmination of what got seeded last year. And also during the solar eclipse last year, there was massive exposure and revelations of RFK in regards to and how they cause autism. So we can also expect more in those regards coming up for sure. Food, medicine, especially medicine, that is going to be very, very important. And there can be like a correction to the old official narratives. That is all being reviewed now with Mercury retrograde. So yeah, we're going to see health officials making major announcements, researchers coming up with new scientific proof, whistleblowers, leaks in data. It is, people are going to be losing their job. Like, I'm going to say it again. People who have strong Virgo placements, and I know RFK has a whole stellium in the 6th house, but he's Leo rising, so yeah, not saying RFK is going to lose his job. No, that's not the case, but I think he's going to really tell us something very important here over the next couple of days. If you know someone in your environment with with important Virgo placements around, let's say 10 to 15 degrees, they can have a major restructuring going on at work as well. So the war around our perception is going to intensify a lot with this Mercury retrograde, and a lot of the data is going to get challenged, and confusion is going to become a very big tool to install fear and anxiety on the masses. And we're going to see some kind of very big tie-up going on. Yeah, I think censorship is also going to be a very, very big theme. Information being concealed, delayed, filtered, trying to clean it up, mass emotional persuasion, to actually, they're going to be designed to shift the public mood, to cause more stress. We're going to need to see through all of that, you guys. It's going to be important. So how to work with the energy? Clean something. Your house, your car, your wardrobe. Virgo really loves purification. Your kitchen, your desk, your medicine cabinet. Take some more supplements also. Salt baths are going to help you. Hydration, detoxing, but don't go too big into like the whole detox. You need to take care of your body, not exhaust it even more. So find balance in that. And also sleeping. Oh, sleeping is so important right now with the whole Pisces stellium. So early bedtime. And I'm like the one who needs to say that, because that is like my biggest self-sabotaging behavior. It is insane. I really need to go to bed more early. So yeah, do not go doom scrolling. Do not go into like perfectionism mode that is actually a bit disguised as self-improvement. Balance everything out and honor if you feel like you need to slow down and simplify everything. Listen to your body. Be careful with what you believe. Focus on what you can actually do instead of what you cannot control. The eclipse right here is really like a very big bridge between spirituality and how that becomes implemented in our lifestyle, between what we believe and what is reality, between like our emotional truths and practical change that needs to happen right now. So yeah, have clearer priorities, embody a more healthier lifestyle. You're gonna have more peace in your mind when everything is in order, and free yourself from perfectionism. It is about sustainable growth and improving yourself, but in a balanced manner. So here you can screenshot that if you want. Like as a Virgo rising, of course, I had to like include a list that you can like check off, because that is like one of the main things of Virgo that they really love to do. So yeah, just read it, and if you want, you can like do a checklist, and that is going to help you. Sometimes like I have a natal Mercury and Pisces, and I tend to forget a lot of things. That's why I need to tap into my Virgo rising to really write everything down, so that it's one out of my head. It doesn't take up like subconscious processing space, and when it's out of my head, I have more room for inspiration and for tapping into meditation. But when you're so busy with everything that you still need to do, if you put it on a paper, you can be like, okay, I'm now taking it out of my brain on paper, and I'm going to put it here. And I'm just going to let it be there for just like a couple of hours or days, whatever is the case for you. But that helps me to bring and find inner peace. So with all that being said, we're going to start the readings for the 12 signs. So unfortunately, today my schedule doesn't really allow me to do very lengthy readings, as you guys are mostly used of me. So yeah, I also need to work on my patterns of overgiving and mental exhaustion. So for once today, I'm going to take my own advice. So we're going to start with Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So you have the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo in your 6th house. That, of course, deals with work routines, health, your daily responsibility, and it is going to bring a very big turning point in how you manage your time and energy and really focus on your physical well-being. Something reaches a culmination. That can be something in your job, within your workflow, within a habit. Release a pattern of overcommitting. There can also be a change in your dynamic with your coworkers. So yeah, if you've been working or like overworking, being on adrenaline, pushing yourself to be productive, then you might need to slow down a little bit more. You have Mercury retrograde in your 12th house. This process here that happens is very also deeply internal and psychological before it's going to become external. So be careful about exhaustion and overwhelm, and really look at your body, your schedule, and your mental state, and definitely your mental health and how that's impacting your productivity on a daily basis. But definitely there's going to be a shift within your work environment. Maybe some colleague is going to quit here, and you might need to work more. You might need to draw some boundaries. You might not be wanting to show up for work at all, because Mercury retrograde in the 12th can also be like emotional exhaustion, overwhelm, feeling very sleepy, dreamy, and a release is always signified by a full moon lunar eclipse, and it's in the 6th. So look at your nervous system, relax, unwind, rest, and solitude are gonna bring you the much needed clarity that you're looking for. But that's only going to come when Mercury is going direct by the 20th of March. So if you've been going to the gym, you might see a lot of results right now. Definitely there's like a team of committing to a new way of looking at your health, and there can be a very big lifestyle change. So just know, Aries, that your strength, you are strong, and your strength, it is not measured by how much you carry. It is actually measured by how wisely that you honor your energy, and you need to build a life that sustains all of that. So good luck, my dear Aries. We have Taurus and Moon or Rising. So Taurus, you have the lunar eclipse in Virgo in your 5th house. It is trining you because it's in a fellow earth sign, which is positive, and the 5th house is the house of joy, creativity, romance, self-expression, and also your children. So yeah, very big culmination. Can be even in the lives of your children, but yeah, how much space do you allow yourself to take up? How much joy are you implementing in your daily routine? There's a big turning point. Also, creative projects can really reach a very big completion. There can be a very big next chapter within your romantic life as well. So yeah, give yourself space to tap into joy and leisure time and relax and unwind, because you're of course ruled by Venus, and Venus is conjunct Mercury retrograde in your 11th house. So yeah, your social sphere is changing, and you're definitely going to bump into people from the past friendships that maybe look closure or want to come back into your life. But it's really about you here, because it's the full moon is in the 5th, and that is about like your individuality and how you express yourself. And then the Mercury retrograde in Pisces in the 11th, it shows that this whole internal process is actually also deeply tied to like your friendships and your communities and your network. So some connections might get dissolved here. Some friendships might end, but that is going to clear up space for new, more aligned, spiritual and compassionate people to enter your life. The 5th house is also putting a very strong theme on inner child healing. So because it's in Virgo, that is a very critical sign. You don't need to be perfect in order to fit into your 11th house of friendships. It's really about embracing your authenticity. And if people judge you, well, then that's their problem. Liberate yourself from controlling your own self-expression and be kind for yourself. And the right people are going to support that. So you do not need to earn joy. It is actually your birthright. And the more that you're going to honor it, the more your life is going to bloom or like blossom according to that. So good luck, my dear Taurus. We have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, my dear Gemini, you have the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo in your 4th house, and that is the house of family, home, your roots, your emotional security, where you feel safe, seen, and heard. And it is your deep inner emotional foundation and your emotional landscape. So very big culmination in both like external living situations and who lives with you. Maybe someone moves out. That is a possibility here, but it's also implicating a lot about your internal world, and it can actually manifest through a sudden move, renovation, changes in who lives with you, your roommates. There can be a shift in your family dynamic. There can something in regards to your mother come up. And there can be important decisions around your property also. So, of course, Gemini, you're also a mutable sign. That means that this eclipse squares you by sign. So it creates a little bit more of friction and thereby change, because all of your angular houses are going to be affected. So the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, and the 10th. So that's like the whole stability of the chart. So with Mercury retrograde in your 10th house, the ruler of this eclipse, Your deeply private processes at home in the fourth are directly intertwined and connected to your public life. There can be a change in your career direction. There can be an important message from your boss. There can even be new work found, or you can go back to a job you've already done before. So you're going to reconsider major life decisions and also how your professional path aligns with your emotional needs, and if like your situation at home is balanced with your professional career zone here in your chart. So past professional themes here in the 10th can require some kind of closure or refinement, and you can even do that from inside of your home here. So yeah, moving, renovating, shifts in family role, revisiting a career path, changing careers. Maybe you're going to move and then you change your career, or an old career from the past can come back up again. And in order for that, you might need to move as well. Something is going to be shifting in those regards here. It's also like a very big redefinition of success here in the 10th house with this whole Pisces stellium. So yeah, you need to really build a home within yourself. Every decision that you now make at home is going to have a direct implication on your reputation as well. It can be even family secrets coming out and that affecting your reputation also. So let me know what happens and good luck. We have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have the full moon lunar eclipse in your 3rd house. And of course, Cancer, you are ruled by the moon. So full moon lunar eclipses are of uttermost importance to you. It's in a sextile sign, which is kind of positive. And Mercury retrograde is also trining you by sign. It is trining Jupiter, which is in your sign. So quite beneficial, actually. And the 3rd house is about communication, your mindset, learning. Look what's going on with your siblings and also with your neighbors, and how that is actually being manifested within your local environment right now. It's like your local community in the 3rd. So it's also going to have an effect on how you think, speak, listen, how you make decisions, how you operate within your mindset on a daily basis. There can be like some kind of conversation here that can have a lot of weight, honestly. The 3rd house is about like communication, and a full moon lunar eclipse can be very revelatory, and someone might say something to you, like a piece of like news or like a dialogue or like a realization, and it's going to illuminate a lot of you. It can be quite emotional, honestly. An emotional conversation with someone from the past. That is definitely a possibility. Maybe that's even going to be a person that is a guru or a mentor to you, or maybe someone from a different cultural background than yourself. That is also possible here. But you're going to notice a very big shift. And the people that you talk to daily, your neighbors, your siblings, also your online interactions. The 3rd house is also part of like social media and your website and your blog posts and all of that. So there can be a very big culmination happening in those regards. So also, the 3rd house is where we learn. So you might complete a course, definitely with Mercury retrograde in the 9th. It connects all of like the day-to-day realizations and conversations to your larger philosophy in life. And you're also really tuning into like your beliefs from the past and how that's affecting your future direction. It can also be about studies, spirituality, philosophy, travel, teaching, publishing. If you're traveling under this influence, Cancer, you're going to have to take into account a bit more of a delay, because, yeah, the 9th and the 3rd are travel houses, and having a Mercury retrograde and an eclipse, maybe not the best time for traveling, honestly. But it is, however, to pick up past studies and like finish them right now. That is definitely a very beneficial energy here for you. So, Cancer, your voice is your power, and the more honest that you think and speak, the more your path is going to open up for you. But don't be too critical in your speech, because Virgo can also be about over-analyzing. And full moon lunar eclipse is a release. So really release, trying to have everything figured out, because your whole philosophy is being rewired now for the next couple of weeks. So good luck. We have Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, Leo, you are going to have the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo in your 2nd house. That is, of course, the house of finances, but also your self-worth, possessions, personal resources. It's going to bring a change in what you truly value, and also how that gets manifested within your material reality. So there can be a shift in income, there can be a new financial strategy, you might sell something, you might make a big purchase, make sure to keep the receipts under this energy with Mercury retrograde in the 8th. But definitely a very big financial eclipse for you, my dear Leo. You might also receive a bonus or like a one-time payment, an increase. You might get a tax refund with Mercury retrograde in the 8th. That can even be bigger than you expected, or your taxes are going to be bigger than you expected and you need to pay more. That is also a possibility here, depending on your own natal chart, of course. But this is a very big financial realignment. Mercury retro in the 8th, it is also going to show you like the deeper psychological layers. It's not only about money, it's also about your emotional relationship with trust and support and combined finances, like shared assets as well. You might need to release like an old pattern of like scarcity mindset or like fears around trust and dependencies. And like, yeah, the 8th house is kind of intense. It can be about shared finances, debt, taxes, investments, or all the energetic, psychological, financial, emotional, sexual intertwinements we have with other people, and rethinking all of that. So this is rebalancing the give and take axis. So this is definitely going to be like a time of a new budgeting strategy, or really letting go of a scarcity mindset and really invest in your own skills and talents. That is going to benefit you massively here. So you need to recognize your own true worth. You need to set your price. Do not let that be dependent on other people. So good luck, my dear Leo. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have, of course, the eclipse in your sign because you are the star of today's show. And the first house is, of course, about your identity, how you look, your body, your life direction, the way you wake up and meet the world on an everyday basis. And eclipses in your sign, that is big. If you have your Sun, Moon, or Rising around, let's say, 9 to 15 degrees, you're like in the direct line of fire, and it's going to have a very big implication on you. I have to say, as a Virgo rising, that my life has been changing massively over the past year and a half. So yeah, this can be like a whole new direction that gets kicked off here. It's not a small adjustment. This is really like the very big culmination of an old version of yourself, and all of the Pisces energy is also like dissolving that right now. So it's about becoming more authentic and embodying the spirituality and really stepping forward in a new way. So release self-criticism, perfectionism, all your identities in the first house that were based on obligation rather than like what your soul wants you to do. That is of very big importance. This is going to be a very visible turning point. Do no longer shrink yourself. Stop overanalyzing. A lot of Virgo risings are going to have some kind of overanalyzing paralysis here with the eclipse in the 1st and all of this Pisces energy in the 7th. And this whole Mercury retrograde in your 7th, it's like, okay, well, Saturn, Neptune are out of Pisces and out of your 7th house, but now we have like a whole bunch of planetary energy again in Pisces. So yeah, there we go again, right? Reevaluating relationship dynamics with Mercury here. Where are you over adapting? Where are you abandoning yourself to keep the peace? And you might need to renegotiate how you connect with other people. Do not overgive to them. If you've been stuck like in a relationship that's no longer is beneficial for your soul growth, then that can definitely be dissolved. If you're single, an ex from the past can definitely return back into your life. Be careful not to fall for the old patterns anymore. Do not get stuck in them. You need to release yourself of them, but definitely a lot of conversations with partners, with your clients, a lot of rescheduling with clients, I can tell you. But there is a very big emphasis on releasing the mindset around, I'm gonna be whoever they need me to be. No, Virgo, please stop. You need to be yourself. You're pure, you're honest, you're dedicated. You want to improve yourself. Maybe other people might need to start to do the same thing. So, yeah. All the false narratives you've inherited of yourself and other people and how you should need to show up in relationships, that needs to change in some kind of way. So do not just focus on efficiency and productivity. Stop measuring your worth through your productivity. And if you feel a little bit more fatigued, then that's normal. Take good care of your digestive system during this time. But there's definitely going to be like some kind of a glow up. And if you release the energy leaks that are now being like triggered by other people, if you release the negative energies within your 7th house of relationships, then you're going to get a massive glow up. And it's going to be noticed within your auric field. And then the right people with the right resonance are going to enter your life soon. So this is like from self-improvement to self-acceptance to self-embodiment here, Virgo. You're not here to become only a better version of yourself. You are here to actually finally be the real version of yourself. So let me know what happens for you and what changes. I'm quite curious. So good luck, my dear Virgo. We have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have the lunar eclipse in Virgo in your 12th house. That is very mystical and deep house. It is what happens behind closed doors. It can even be a blind spot for yourself. The 12th house is also about the subconscious, final endings, puts a very big emphasis on healing and on solitude and spiritual integration. There is so much energy going on in the 6th house. Do not overwork right now, otherwise you can become ill and you're going to be forced to isolate with this eclipse. So, yeah, it is a very big energetic and emotional release point, and it's going to happen behind the scenes. So it's happening on like a soul level. So it's about releasing self-sabotaging behavior, releasing unconscious patterns, overgiving and martyrdom dynamics. They all need to end right now. This is a very deep energetic cleansing, and something that you have been carrying for a very, very long time is now finally ready to be released. And that can be a lot to deal with for your body. So take extra sleep. If you feel fatigued, if you feel like a little bit unmotivated at your job or within your work environment, just consider that's normal with Mercury retrograde in the 6th. Be careful about making mistakes at work. Misconversations or like miscommunications with colleagues can definitely come up, or people who work for you. That is also a possibility. But definitely there can be something big changing within your job, because look, Mercury retrograde is going to conjunct the Sun and then also Mars, and it's going to trine Jupiter in your 10th house. So this is actually very beneficial to change something very profound in your job, and that becoming actually way more aligned. And you can really go into isolation and tap into like meditation, and you're going to receive a lot of answers through synchronicities, because the 12th house is pretty magical. So focus on acceptance, forgiveness, emotional closure, and take notice of your dreams, my dear Libra. Keep a dream journal. It's going to be very important. So release what you carry in silence. Make space for a new daily routine that truly supports you, and you need to be rested and completed and feeling whole within yourself. So good luck, my dear Libra. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, you're going to have the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo in your 11th house. And like my nose is tingling, so it's like something important something important wants to be mentioned here, Scorpio, because in Dutch they say when your nose is itchy, it is like an important sign here. They say like people are talking about you, and that is actually funny, because you have the full moon lunar eclipse in your 11th house of your friendships, and that can mean like there's going to be a release in your friendship zone. There might be a completion in a friendship, and people are going to be talking behind your back, and that is a possibility here, especially because my nose just keeps being itchy. So be careful about gossip. Do not care for it. Focus on the fifth house of joy and fun and leisure time, and just let them say what they want. Like, I know, Scorpio, you are very good at transmutating like the darker energies in life. So the 11th, it is also about your future vision, your alliances, your networks, your communities, social media. And the fifth house is really about self-expression. That is now the polarity here. It's also about leisure time, fun activities, your hobbies, and you are in such a big transition because your chart ruler Pluto is actually squaring your sign. It's in the fourth house, in a very deep emotional, like, it's the foundation of the chart, and it's squaring you by sign. So I know a lot of Scorpios are going through a very, very intense restructuring process, and it deals with a lot of stuff from family and the home, and you might even get an unexpected inheritance whenever Uranus crosses over into the 8th house by the end of April, beginning of May, as it's going to make a perfect trine towards your chart ruler. But it is, however, going to make an 150-degree quincunx aspect to your sun, moon, or rising. So definitely a lot of changes in store for you here in the upcoming year, and definitely 2 years. And it might be a little bit unnerving at times, but you, Scorpio, are destined to have a more emotional life than other signs, and I know you guys are gonna get stronger by it. But you're definitely gonna reach an important milestone within your future goals here in the 11th, and new aspirations are gonna come true, and you're gonna recognize that a certain path within a friendship or within your community is actually no longer aligned. Just know that it's not a failure. There's actually a course correction towards a more authentic future with the whole planetary stellium in the 5th. So yeah, look at who genuinely supports you and who drains or limits your growth. And I know so many Scorpios who have the wrong friendships. You have a lot of friendships and a lot of, especially females, who are actually jealous of you, who want to limit your growth, who rather see you fail. Be careful about that. Scorpios, they sense so much, but sometimes the closest people around them, it's difficult sometimes to see. Once you're so intertwined and once you're trauma bonded, it can be difficult to see if they're actually draining your energy, and that might become a little bit more noticeable during this time. On the positive side, there can be new soul-aligned friendships coming in, replacing that. And you need to stop people pleasing within groups. Do not try to fit into spaces anymore that are not going to reflect your true future. Yeah, it's about becoming more self-aligned before wanting all this social validation. The focus is also on the 5th house. Then we have the Mercury retrograde, of course. And luckily, this whole beautiful Pisces stellium is actually trining your sun, moon, or rising. So look at what brings you joy, and there can be a lot of changes within your romantic life. Partners from the past are gonna hit you up again. Do not fall for the trap. Do not get stuck in past patterns. But definitely it can be about like a lot of miscommunications also with your partner, but that is gonna get worked out beautifully. Just be a little bit mindful around the 15th of March because Mars and Mercury are gonna meet together. Luckily, it's in your 5th house, trining your sign, but still, Mars is also a chart ruler of yours, and that can definitely bring either enormous passion or enormous conflict, depending on your own chart. So, heal your heart here in the 5th house, and the right people are going to meet you there in the 11th. So, good luck, Scorpio. We have Sagittarius and Moon rising. You have this full moon lunar eclipse in your 10th house. You are also a mutable sign. So look, the whole Pisces stellium is squaring you. The full moon lunar eclipse is squaring you. This is an indicator of big, big change and can be a little bit uncomfortable. But the positive side is the 10th house is the house of career, your public image, your life direction, your reputation, the role that you're here to actually embody in this world. What are you going to leave behind? What is your legacy? you can get a promotion. You are becoming more visible, and there can be like new responsibilities within the job, or more work, or a change in your professional direction. You're gonna be more seen and acknowledged for your work. So this is a very big realignment with like success and visibility, and you're definitely going to get some kind of an upgrade here. So yeah, what does success mean to you, and whose ladder have you been actually climbing? Is it your own ladder? Is it the ladder that your parents have been put up when you were a kid? Because look at the stellium in the 4th house. That is connecting you, or like reviewing or reassessing themes of your upbringing, and especially the mother. Yeah, it's where you live also, and a very big, it's going to reveal a lot of things, and the public shift, and you being more seen, that is deeply tied to your personal and emotional process from the 4th house. Going to be connected to your relationship with your family. Your mother can help you, your father can help you. The 10th is the father and the 4th is the mother. It's implicating and reassessing your sense of belonging. Some of you are going to move out. Some of you are going to split with a partner. The 10th house is also the house of social status. So something shifts within inside the home in the 4th house, Mercury retrograde there, and that becomes publicly visible. That is also a possibility. And by that, your social status changes, your reputation changes, but it's actually you rethinking right now what is safe, where do I feel seen, how much space am I allowed to take up here in my family, inside of my home, my partner. It is very big energy here, you guys. And Uranus is about to shift into the 7th house by the end of April. And that can really indicate a breakup or wanting more freedom, detachment in relationships, a sudden new attraction that comes in. That is all very, very possible here. So let me know what happens for you, my dear Sagittarius. I'm actually quite impressed here with the energy. And I know for a lot of you, you're going to be choosing a way more authentic path, and you're redefining your professional identity, and there's going to be some kind of change within inside your home or your deep emotions. But look forward to like the public recognition that is going to come off of this, because the path that is truly yours, maybe it doesn't exist right now, because you now have a very big chance in creating that. So make good use of the energy, and I wish you good luck. We have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising. You have the full moon lunar eclipse in your 9th house in Virgo. And of course, that's in a fellow earth sign. So it's trining your Sun, Moon, or Rising. Very, very positive energy here. And the 9th is the house of expansion and higher wisdom and belief systems, long distance travel, publishing, your personal truth, divine intervention. And it's actually bringing a very powerful turning point in how you understand the world, and also what you believe is possible. It's like expanding your, and you can now see an ending or a very big release. There might also be like a significant travel opportunity that comes forward, but Mercury retrograde in the 3rd house, you guys, be careful. It's actually not the best time for traveling. If you travel, go to somewhere you've already been before right now. That is going to help you. But there's definitely a very big experience here that can happen even abroad right now, that is going to fundamentally shift your perspective in a very big way. Something can click into place over the next few weeks. Remember, guys, we have the Mercury retrograde. It can only happen by the end of March, but there's going to be some kind of points here along the way that is really going to reset your belief system. It can be like about releasing an old limitation of what you're capable of like your ideas about like being on the right path. You can shed these rigid world beliefs or like world views as well. And there can be like an experience or knowledge or an encounter with different culture that is going to change your perspective, perspective. And truth is going to be exposed in a very big way, and it's going to be impossible to unsee. So this can actually be very, very liberating. And then the Mercury retrograde in the third is like rethinking about how you process these big shifts in your worldview. It's how you think and process information. It's how you communicate, how you learn on a daily basis. And look at what's happening with your neighbors and with your siblings. You might have a very important conversation with your sibling going on here, and some kind of hidden information or a dissolving of a contract. That can all happen. And also be a little bit careful on the road here. The third house rules over siblings, neighbors, communication, social media, your website, your email list. But it can also deal with like cars and being on the road. And with the Mercury retrograde in its own house, it likes to be in the third house, luckily, but it has a stronger manifestation here. When I had Mercury retro in my third, I got sick, my phone died, and my car needed to be repaired. And I was like, dear Lord, that is a lot to handle. Of course, I am a Virgo rising. Mercury is my chart ruler, but still, having a Mercury retrograde in the third house, there can be like some kind of a dissolvement of contracts going on as well. Do not sign any important contract before the 20th of March. Even best to wait until the 9th of April, because then Mercury will be out of shadow. So tune into studies from the past that you haven't finished before. That is like the best energy here for this Mercury retrograde. You might publish anything, teach something, share an important message, rework your email list, your website, update all of that, make blog posts. All of that is actually going to help you to also expand here with the full moon eclipse in the 9th, expand beyond what you once believed was possible. This is a time for miracles. So yeah, let your perspective grow, and your entire life is going to gain a new direction, and it's going to be added with more meaning. So good luck, Capricorn. We have Aquarius and Moon rising. All right, my dear Aquarius, you have the full moon lunar eclipse in your 8th house. That is the most intense house of our zodiac wheel. It is about shared resources, your emotional bonds, intimacy, trust, debt, taxes, contracts, but mostly financial contracts, and also deep psychological transformation. And it's also the house where we find our deepest fears and traumas. So it's going to bring a very powerful turning point in the way you merge with other people. Financially, energetically, psychology, on a psychological way, and how that's all intertwined. There's a very big emphasis here on the give and take axis, just like for Leo, of course. So yeah, this is not surface level energy. This is deep. It is about the agreements that actually shape your life behind the scenes and how much you value yourself. Your self-worth is having a very big reassessment here with Mercury retrograde in the 2nd. But with the eclipse in the 8th, there's like some kind of ending or culmination point in a financial entanglement. Or maybe you're going to release yourself from debt. There can be a return on investment. There can be a new, deeply emotional connection being formed that is triggering you to fully surrender and to trust and merge and bond on a soul level. Yeah, this is really like releasing a lot of patterns around fear of betrayal and being vulnerable. And something is being restructured here so deeply so that actually the exchange of energy in your life is going to become more balanced, and it's about you becoming empowered within the 8th house. It is a very mystical, occult house, the 8th house. It is really about like witchery and divination also, and like spell work and energetic leaks and protecting you from psychic attacks and all of that. So yeah, you might need to protect your energy also a little bit more so it doesn't leak here. Also, definitely in regards to money, you can pay off a debt, you can renegotiate a financial shared agreement. It's actually about regaining control and clarity in the areas that felt very, very draining and heavy and like unclear. There's clarity that is about to emerge within a couple of weeks here. And with Mercury retrograde in Pisces in your second house, that is a very big transformation. It shows that the full moon lunar eclipse in the 8th is about transformation, and that is directly intertwined with the second house of finances and your self-worth and like your financial independence. So what do you need to truly feel safe and secure? And it's about reassessing your relationship with money and purging the scarcity mindset. And you might be helped by other people. The 8th house is the house where we do not have to work for the money. It can be gifted to us, and there can be a tax refund. There can be like a return on investment. There can be a partner that has a very big breakthrough, and by that he's able to share more with you. But the 2nd and the 8th is about how much you rely on yourself versus others. So the 2nd is self-reliance, and the 8th is shared support. So there's going to be a massive change going on in regards to that. Do not spend too much right now. If you buy something big, keep the receipts with Mercury retrograde in the second house, because that might get lost in space. Your finances might get lost in space. Look at all of the automatic subscriptions, cancel it out if you don't need it anymore. It's about like the leaks within your money situation and how that is having an effect on your self-worth as well. So restore that, because that is when like the true power is going to return to you. So good luck, my dear Aquarius. We have Pisces and Moon or Rising. All right, my dear Pisces. How are you guys doing with the Pisces stellium? Yeah, there is an eclipse in your opposite sign of Virgo. So within your 7th house, the house of relationships, partnerships, contracts, and also your one-on-one dynamics. And it's bringing a very big changing and culmination point within how you connect with other people. So this is going to be very, very visible for you guys. It is in the 7th house, and it is an external house. Other people are going to be triggering you. There is very big mirroring going on as well. And the 7th is about romance, professional intertwinement, like relationships, but business and romantic and marriage, but also personal, very close one-on-one bonds. So yeah, this is like a moment of revelation and truth. Some of you Pisces who have been stuck in an abusive or toxic relationship are going to be breaking themselves free. There's like a release going on. There can be a secret exposed as well. If you're single, there can someone new be coming in. It's like also about redefining relationships. Maybe some of you are going to take your bond to the next level. Others are going to recognize where they've outgrown someone, and you might meet someone significant here. And there is a very big moment here of like deciding whether to stay, whether to deepen, whether to walk away. And there is not a lot of clarity with the Mercury retrograde in your sign. Look at where you are overgiving. Where are you keeping yourself small for other people? Where are there like unclear expectations? Where are people ghosting you? Where are like the exchanges not reciprocal? It's about a very big recalibration of like your boundaries and the energetic balance that's being like measured and all of that. And with this whole planetary stellium in your sign, there is a very, very big redefinition of who you are in a relationship. It's putting such a big emphasis on how you show up for others and vice versa. Your roles of martyr or like savior or like needing to be saved, all of that needs to like really, that needs to end. It's also showing you how you are communicating Mercury about your own needs and feelings, and how are other people like responding to that. Where have you projected your Piscean rose-colored ideals on other people? Have you been ignoring red flags because you saw the best in everyone? Like, with my Pisces stellium, I always see the best in everyone, and I'm too forgiving, and that is actually a self-sabotaging pattern of myself that I need to like release. And I think it's going to be a very big emphasis here for you as well. And Mars enters your sign here on the 2nd, so a day before this eclipse, and it's going to give you the assertive power to stand up for yourself. And people are gonna view you as more maybe a little bit more frustrated as well, but you're going to have more energy and more strength to make a change here. So yeah, are you keeping your walls too high or too low and adjusting that? And I know for you Pisces, it can go up and down really quick. So yeah, here you need to learn how to meet others without losing yourself, but still, if someone new comes in, lower your defenses. Mercury is conjunct Venus, and it's going to be conjuncting the Sun, the North Node, Mars. It's going to be insane the next couple of weeks, Pisces. This is like a whole new restructuring and rewiring of the entire foundation of your chart. It has an application on the 1st house, the 4th house, the 7th, and the 10th. So actually over the next month in your Pisces season here still, yeah, there can be like a very big change in all of these themes, honestly. And it's also about your own qualities that are actually being mirrored back through other people or like other persons. And do not fear it. Be open. Let other people in. But only let them in when they like prove to be trustworthy. You're sometimes too forgiving. So yeah, you might sign even a very big important contract in regards to finances or money here with Mercury retrograde on Venus. There's a lot going on actually, but you really need to focus now on attracting partners who actually reflect your current growing level of self-worth. This is actually, it could be a very big relationship milestone. Some Pisces are going to break up and others going to meet someone who really fits them and completes them in a very big soul level. And you've probably already met them in the last couple of weeks when Venus was on the North Node, then Mercury was on the North Node, the Sun is now on the North Node. So these are such a big destined changes. And whatever changes now, you didn't choose it. It is set up by the gods. And you need to be grateful, even if it feels a little bit confusing. Trust that there will be a very, very big solution and clarity coming in on the 20th of March after Mercury stations direct on the North Node at 8 degrees, which is a Scorpio degree, intense new fated encounters from people from a past life. It's gonna be really, really exciting, honestly. So yeah, the more clearly you're gonna stand in who you are, the more the right people can actually truly meet you there. So just embody your beautiful Pisces qualities. And if you feel a little bit exhausted or confused right now, that is all of the energy in your sign. It's gonna be a little bit better when Mars enters, but still be careful around the 15th of March for sharp words. Some of you are going to get a little bit frustrated over the next couple of weeks and days. And on the 15th of March, Mars on Mercury, that can be rather feisty communications. But some of you are maybe finally going to have like the courage to stand up for yourself and just like say it like it is. And by that, releasing a lot of energy from the 7th house and from your own identity. And like you're becoming a bit more stronger now at Mars in your sign. So, yeah, I think that was it. I wish you good luck, my dear Pisces, and let me know what happens. All right, maybe I'm going to draw an overall card for the entire collective. I just feel like doing that. So what's the overall energy here? And this one fell out. Cosmic Ocean. That is funny. Okay, so the first one, Cosmic Ocean. And it's about current dreams, future realities, new beginnings. Like, how crazy is this card and how beautifully it fits like the whole Pisces energy that we're dealing with right now. So yeah, the current dreams, Pisces, are going to be future realities. Because like in this entire video, I've talked about how to bring spirituality into practicality and into reality with Virgo. So yeah, this is going to be the main focus, and I'm going to pull a bonus card for those who like the cards. I really like the cards, honestly. The water carrier. What really matters, reflect, reprioritize. Reprioritize your daily routine, reflect on your dreams and what truly matters, and let go of everything that gives you stress and anxiety. It is like these cards. I really love them. Yeah, we need to reflect. Mercury retrograde for the next couple of weeks. Do not make too big of a decision right now. If you're overwhelmed, just know that it's kind of normal. It would be rather crazy if you weren't overwhelmed. So maybe if you can think about it like that, it's all not too bad. And yeah, people are a little bit confused and drunk, and like they are asleep at the wheel. Do you guys know that song of suicidal tendency? Oh my god, I cannot say that word on YouTube. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. So but if you know that band, you need to check out that song. It can be quite helpful under the energies. So yeah, I wish you all a beautiful full moon lunar eclipse, and I will see you back soon with another video. And let me know what happens. I like drop your rising sign in the comments. Let me know what's going on for you. I always love reading your guys' feedback and all of your comments. And thank you all so much for the support. So see you back soon. Bye bye.